Welcome back to Learn English Quickly with Podcast, the podcast that helps you speak English with confidence. I'm your host, Decent.
And I'm Olivia. It's so great to have you back with us. In episode 4, we focused on pronunciation and gave you some practical exercises to help improve your speaking.
Yes, and today, we're tackling another important skill, listening. Many learners focus a lot on speaking and grammar, but listening is just as crucial for fluency.
That's right. If you can't understand what people are saying, it's hard to have a conversation, right? So, improving your listening skills is key to effective communication.
Exactly. So, let's talk about why listening is so important. Why should learners prioritize listening skills?
Listening helps you understand the rhythm and flow of the language. It exposes you to different accents, speeds, and slang, which is especially important for understanding native speakers. Plus, it helps you improve your pronunciation because you're mimicking the sounds you hear.
Great point. Now, many learners struggle with understanding native speakers because they speak so quickly. What can they do to improve?
One of the first things learners should do is listen to slower content. Start with podcasts, television shows, or audiobooks that speak slowly and clearly. As you get more comfortable, you can gradually increase the speed.
So, start slow and work your way up. What are some good resources for that?
I recommend starting with podcasts designed for English learners. There are many that use slow, clear speech and repeat key phrases. Some good examples are The English We Speak by BBC or ESL Pod.
That's helpful. But what about when you're listening to faster speech? Is there any way to train your ear for that?
Absolutely. A technique that works well is to listen to the same audio multiple times. The first time, listen without worrying too much about understanding every word. Just try to get the general idea. The second time, focus on picking out the words you missed. The third time, try to mimic the sentences you hear.
That's a great approach, repetition and gradual focus. Any other techniques to help learners understand faster speech?
Another technique is to listen for key words. Native speakers often emphasize important words in a sentence, so identifying those can give you a good idea of the main message.
Interesting. So, even if you don't catch every word, you can still understand the key points. What are some exercises learners can do to improve this skill?
One exercise is to watch a short video or listen to an audio clip without subtitles. Then try to summarize what was said. If you missed something, listen again, and then check with the transcript or subtitles. This helps you identify areas to focus on.
That's a good way to engage with the content actively. How about for learners who want to practice understanding different accents?
Accents are a big factor in understanding spoken English. A good way to practice is to listen to different varieties of English. For example, you could listen to podcasts from different countries, like the UK, Australia, and the US. This will help you get used to different pronunciations and intonations.
That's a fun way to expose yourself to different accents. What about understanding informal speech or slang?
Great question. Native speakers often use slang or idiomatic expressions, which can be tough to understand. A good way to learn slang is to watch shows or movies that use everyday language. Pay attention to how certain phrases are used and try using them yourself.
So, immersive learning is the key. The more you expose yourself to real, natural speech, the better you'll get. Any tips for learners who might feel frustrated with their listening progress?
It's important to be patient. Listening comprehension improves gradually, just like speaking. Don't get discouraged if you don't understand everything at once. Celebrate the progress you make, even if it's small. Consistency is key.
That's great advice. And speaking of consistency, how often should learners practice listening to really see improvement?
Try to listen to something in English every day, even if it's just for 10 to 15 minutes. You don't have to dedicate hours at a time, but regular practice is essential for improvement.
That's doable. And for our listeners, we recommend using a variety of resources like podcasts, YouTube videos, news reports, and television shows, so you can practice with different accents, speeds, and contexts.
Exactly. And remember, don't just passively listen. Actively engage with what you're hearing. Take notes, repeat sentences, and try to imitate the rhythm and tone of the speaker.
Great. So, to wrap up, let's give our listeners a challenge. Try listening to a short podcast or audio clip today. Write down 5 key phrases or words that you didn't know before. Then, look them up and practice saying them out loud.
And remember, the more you practice, the easier it becomes to understand and speak English fluently. Keep pushing yourself, and don't forget to enjoy the process.
Thanks for joining us for this episode. In the next episode, we'll be discussing strategies for improving your writing skills.
Remember, keep practicing your listening skills.
Last but not least, before say goodbye, let's dive deeper into some practical listening exercises you can try at home. These are not just about listening passively, but actively engaging with what you hear.
One of the best ways to practice listening is to use transcripts. Start by listening to a clip or podcast without looking at the transcript. Then check the transcript afterward. This allows you to identify the words or sounds you missed.
That sounds like a useful exercise. It's all about recognizing where you're struggling and focusing on those areas. How about listening for specific information?
Absolutely. Practice listening for specific details. For example, listen to a news report and try to write down the main points or details such as numbers, names, or locations. This helps train your ear to catch important pieces of information.
I like that. It's like listening with purpose. Are there any other exercises for specific areas, like accents or speed?
Yes. Try listening to material that challenges you. For example, listen to a podcast in a fast or strong accent. Don't worry if you don't catch everything, just keep practicing. Over time, your brain will get used to the patterns.
That's a good point. It's about exposing yourself to varied content and gradually making it more challenging as you improve. What about listening to movies or shows in English?
That's another fantastic way to practice. Watch movies or television shows with subtitles in English. This helps you connect the spoken words with their written form and get used to the way native speakers naturally link words together.
So, it's like combining listening and reading together. Any final tips for learners who want to improve their listening skills even faster?
Yes. One thing I suggest is shadowing movies or television shows, just like we do with podcasts. Try repeating sentences after the characters. This helps you catch more details and mimic the flow of natural conversation.
Great advice, Olivia. So, if our listeners practice consistently, mix up the types of content they listen to, and actively engage with what they're hearing, they'll see real improvement.
Exactly. And don't forget, listening is the key to understanding how English sounds naturally. The more you listen, the more you'll feel confident using the language in everyday conversations.
Well, that's a wrap for episode 5. Keep practicing those listening skills, and we'll see you next time with more strategies to improve your language skills.
Goodbye, and remember consistency and engagement are the keys to mastering listening. See you in episode 6.